There we go. Now we're proper. Hello.
Huh? What?
Welcome tonight. Welcome today.
Oh.
It's Thursday. Who's your main?
Okay.
I'm your host, Jared, and this is my co-host.
I'm Anthony.
Yeah. Look, see, we did that good. Let's practice again. Okay. If you just joined us
Oh.
today.
How dare you? How dare you trick me into doing a good opener?
That wasn't even. that was still cold. That was ice. That was ice. What were we talking about last week? Talking about Knights of the Old Republic. It's hard to think about anything. I just finished my Final Fantasy VII Remake 100%. After years of playing it the first time when it first came out on the PS4 and coming back to it and thinking about 100% in games and just like getting really intimate with a game. You know, we always, here at Who's Your Main, we always talk about 100% in games and put it to rest. I do believe not just, but a couple of sessions ago we were talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it really started with you and I both suffer from the same condition, which is if left to our own devices, we will immerse ourselves in a game for not hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, and we will just wallow in it. And to the point where we like dissect it down to the things that we hate. And then it's like, now we're playing this game out of spite. And then it's like, I'm done with this game. And then a year later, we come right back to it, crawling right back to it. And we had to have almost like this like mental stopgap of like, okay, now I'm done with the game. I'm done. I've done everything there is to do. I'm ready to move on because our backlogs are getting so tremendously overwhelming that it's like we have to move on. There are other games that we have to play. And so I think you and I are both in that same boat of left to our own devices, you know, we would never leave. But achievements are kind of it satisfies two of both of our kind of like monkey brain things, which are like, okay, now we can move on to another game, we can move on to our backlog, and then the other part of that monkey brain is like, ooh, shiny trophy.
Nothing feels better than seeing that 100%. Like 100% in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay, this is the most recent example for me at this point because it's just a couple of days ago. Well, even though it was just like a day ago. Well, it's like, oh, I want to try this build on this fight. And it's like, no, you've got the 100%. But we could. I don't know if you do this thing where after you 100% the game, you fight with the uninstall. Like, do I uninstall this? I have to uninstall this. It's 100% and I have to uninstall it. But I could boot it up again. It's been my favorite toy for days now. But you have all the achievements, sir. Yes.
No, once I'm, you know, obviously this is now, you know, I was much like you. I was a Steam gamer for a very long time, basically from my teenage years all the way through college, and only really until recently did I get back into console gaming. But now that I'm primarily playing on PlayStation, when I'm done with a game, I get 100%, I get the platinum, it's immediately deleted. Make room for the next game, start downloading the next game, you know, because I only have so much space. You know, you're in that same boat as I am as well, obviously. But yeah, I get it. You want to have that kind of safety net of it's still on your home bar and like I could go back and play it. No, not for me. I delete it, get it out of there. Next game in. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, I did do that. This time. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to pop in Rebirth. Yeah, well, folks, that's going to be on the back burner for a minute. We got some technical issues to solve there to get back into Rebirth, and we'll get to you on that Final Fantasy VII Remake deep dive episode. We were fighting with ourselves to not record that today. I feel like we really
absolutely
wanted to. It's so fresh in my mind. Some of the music in that game was just like. Just so good. Oh, man.
I think that game is a very good example of why we love video games. It's such a love letter to anybody who's played the original game. It's a love letter to anybody that loves gaming in general, cinematography, audio design. There's just so many great things about it. And then it just keeps getting better. There's just more. You know, you said you finished Remake and Integrate, the DLC, Yuffie DLC, which I think the Yuffie DLC is arguably one of the greatest DLCs for a video game ever, as far as story, sound design, all of that stuff all over again. And then, like you said, you haven't had a chance to play Rebirth yet. I have. I've already beaten it. But I can wholeheartedly say Rebirth is just as good, if not better, than Remake and Intergrade put together. So yeah, it's insane. We're gonna have to do a deep dive on those games.
Oh yeah. And you were talking about that. I don't know, that DLC just felt like it was the DLC that just kept on giving. I was like, stop. There's better be only 2 chapters because this is crazy. Especially after going through it on the hard mode, that was really fun. We kind of kick back and forth on that too, game difficulty and whether or not we agree. But I think we have varying degrees on what we think is a good way to do difficulty. But I feel like that's a hard metric to measure. It's like, is this hard mode really hard, or is it just like bullet sponge? Like
Exactly. We're far enough into the episode. I can get on my soapbox and piss off half of our audience.
Go ahead.
I will compare the hard mode of Remake, Intergrade, and Rebirth. I will compare that to Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, where both games have the ability to do chapter select and go back and do things over again. The difference between those two games, in Metal Gear Solid 5, you go back because you have to. You essentially replay missions that you've already done arbitrarily to get more resources, to, further your mother base, all of that stupid stuff. But you have to do it to complete the game. So you're essentially doing things twice in order to pad out a game that wasn't finished. You can argue that until you're blue in the face. Kojima has come out and said Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't done. Konami basically told him he had to ship it out. That's the difference. You were doubling down on missions because you had to. Whereas in Remake, Intergrade, and Rebirth, you and I went back and played hard mode because we wanted to, because we wanted more. We got done with a 100-hour-long story, and we were like, no, I want to do it again. I want to see if I can handle hard mode. And, we were talking before the episode started, but you and I think, both agree that in Remake, we handled hard mode no problem. The stipulations and all of that stuff that they impose upon you, while they weren't fun necessarily, I do think they were manageable.
I don't think there was any section in the hard mode that I really struggled with. Everything was like a fun puzzle, but then it was like, here's my gameplay style. This is how I'm playing. This is the characters I'm using. I get to apply my battle tactics to the fight. Maybe you have to bring a certain elemental a weakness or absorption, but I could still just like lean back on my play style. So I like that. I like that in a game that does that, especially on the hard mode. You really feel like, man, like there's like probably a huge list of games that it's like, oh yeah, changing the difficulty made this game make more sense. Like, yeah, putting it on hard mode. Oh yeah, I see. If they had just like not put items in and gave me maxed out materials and said, go at it, I think that it would have been just fine the way it was. But I'm glad that they had the difficulty settings. I think it was really fun to play on normal and slowly get everything. That really felt like traditional RPG, like collect the equipment, collect the materia. You don't really get to grind until you get to those Shinra VR missions. So I like that traditional JRPG grinding stuff. Where it's like, fuck, that fight's too hard. Let's go fight here for an hour, and then we'll be right back. We're gonna beat your ass.
I'll volleyball this back into your side here, because I know you will want to talk about this. But a game that I felt like was better on the hard difficulty mode was The Witcher 3. I think playing on Death March made that game infinitely more fun, and the way that it was supposed to be. Much more visceral and much more strategy involved was playing on Death March in The Witcher 3.
Man, I'd love to sit here and just spend the next 30 minutes talking about The Witcher. Witcher 3, yeah, Death March. Wow, fuck, that was a good time. That was, you step out into the field or whatever, and those fucking wolves kill you if you're not good at the fucking parry and shit. You're like, I just got killed by the wolves. Chill, bro, chill.
Wait a minute, I just beat the game. What the hell?
Have you ever tried to go back and play that on the hard difficulty after you haven't played it in a while and get killed by the wolves again?
No, I did have that experience. Well, because that was one of the games that was kind of right around the time when we were formulating this whole idea of like, okay, now that I won 100% a game, I'm done with it. And so you and I were both getting the achievements for that game together. And one of the achievements is you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, on Death March difficulty. And it had been a very long time since I had played The Witcher 2. I was very unfamiliar with it. And so I decided I was going to play through the game on normal difficulty first and then do a completely second playthrough on Death March rather than starting on Death March and just struggling through it. And when I had the exact same experience. You have that opening cinematic where Geralt and he's talking through his dream, and you kind of gain control of the character and you get attacked by the wolves, and you're just like, wait, hey, whoa, stop, wait, pause.
chill, bro. Yeah. The Witcher 2, though, okay, that's like a different game. Just like Witcher 1. Witcher 1, 2, and 3 are all like very different like gameplay games. The story there is all very much linked. Very amazing trilogy. If you can stomach playing Witcher 1, which I think anybody here listening who hasn't played Witcher 1, just wait. They're gonna remake it. I mean, it may be a couple years, but I think it'll be worth the wait because that game was incredibly fun. I've beat it multiple times at this point. Really loved it. But Witcher 2, its Death March, it should not have been called Death March. It was hardcore. It was Witcher hardcore. If you fucking died, it deleted your save. And so there was this one fight, I think it's about halfway through, where you have to fight this guy, this big muscly guy. I'm not going to reveal the spoiler. You have to fight him. And it's the fucking cheapest ass fucking fight in all of gaming that I've ever done. Like, he can insta-kill you soon as the fight starts. So, like, you go through the cutscene and boom, here's the fight. Like, not even a second, not even a millisecond, he's already doing his 3-hit combo that kills you instantly. And boy, howdy, was that frustrating to like have to play through all the way back up to that point and then get killed by him, then play all the way back up. And like you finally get to where you beat him and you're like, the rest of this is going to be miserable if I have to go back there. And so like you just lock it up until you beat the game. You don't lose. I don't think there's any other part in that Death March that was that devastating. After that, there was no like cheapness. As long as you were just like not pushing the wrong button, you were good to go. But that Death March versus the Death March of Witcher 3, I'll take Witcher 3 all day. Like, stop making fucking hardcore achievements, people. Don't do it.
Well, I'll give you another one. This is one that I just recently finished. I finally finished the platinum achievement run on The Last of Us remake, and that was one of the achievements that you have to do is you have to beat the game on grounded mode, which, no HUD, you don't know how much health you have, you don't know how many bullets are in your guns, and if you die, you get in the first game, thankfully, you only get booted back to your the start of the chapter, but in the second one, you have to restart the entire game. And gee, many Christmas. I think that we've talked about this before on an episode. I know we have, but I think a zombie game is made infinitely better by being hard, because that is the point, right? Is that it's this survival horror. You're managing your resources. If you die, the journey's over. Like that's how it should be. Is the story should be impacted by how you play in the game. However, like I think in the case of The Witcher or especially in like Final Fantasy, like we were talking about earlier, in those games, if you die, there really is there's no connection there, right? So like if Geralt dies in the gameplay, well, Geralt of Rivia doesn't die to some wolf on the road, right? He dies to some human in some meaningless war.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
That's a bad example. That's a bad example. A bad example.
Yeah, I'm like standing up. Wait. Excuse me. I don't think you know the story anymore.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, folks. We got to do a re-education.
Yeah, but to me, that's a major gripe that I have, and I think you were getting there on your end of the story as well, which is, hard for hard's sake isn't fun. but when there is kind of like a visceral connection between you and the character, to where it's like, not only do you, obviously you don't want the character to die, you don't want to lose, but then there's also that frustration of like, you having to constantly redo a certain section in a game ruins that section for me. One of them that I always remember, this would have been years ago back on the PlayStation 3, but the very first Dead Space, the platinum achievement for that one was you have to play through the entire game with the starter pistol. You can level it up as much as you want, but you can only use the starter pistol. And for the vast majority of the game, that's fine. The starter pistol is amazing. It's a great weapon. But you have to fight against these tiny little things that are really hard to hit, and that makes it much more difficult than using like the flamethrower or the wide beam weapon. And I just remember dying over and over and over and over again. And the element of horror is lost, right? Because it's like, well, I've already failed. The element of terror or suspense is gone. Now I'm just mad. Now I'm pissed off because I can't beat this section of the game. It's just too difficult. Whatever challenges are imposed are too insurmountable for my skill level. So now it's no longer about the story. Now it's about you just being stuck in a certain part of the level. And I think what you're talking about is a really good example of that in The Witcher 2, which is why I have not attempted that run. Because of your horror stories that you told me. Yeah, I can't stand it when you get stuck in a game like that.
Some of the achievements I've done since I started this achievement running, some of them I never ever want to have to do again in any.
Yeah.
Like if I get to a game and it's my favorite game and it's like this is the achievement, I'll be like, piss off. I'm going to use a Steam unlocker on you. Actually, I may not even do that because I want to see it, that it was some bullshit. I want to see it with my eyes, be like, why is that missing? And then I go and look. I'm like, oh, fuck that fucking achievement. I fucking hate that. Yeah. Speaking again on like games that like the difficulty makes the game make sense. I just saw this posted somewhere. I want to say it was on Reddit or something. That they said Fallout with survival mode, Fallout 4 with survival mode, and I wanted to hear what you had to say about that because I was like, oh yeah, that's a good. Oh, Anthony plays Fallout lots and lots, especially Fallout 4.
So to me, 100% Fallout 4 on survival mode is the only way to play. That's the only way I will play, that game. The Fallout series in general, I think, is it's an easy game, right? Eventually you get to be so strong that you can beat any enemy in the game, one shot. The added difficulty of survival mode is that now, and I've even taken it a step further now, which is, this tells you how big of a, I guess you can, masochist, whatever you want to call it. Now I play YOLO runs, which means you only get one life. You only get one life bar, so you can never heal. If you take any radiation damage, it's permanent. If you take any damage, it's permanent. And those runs are incredibly satisfying because the tension is now ratcheted up to 1,000,000 because any damage that you take, any stray bullet could be the end of the run. But then also, any unwanted damage, you're just out getting supplies and you take damage. Well, that affects your health bar forever. To me, the Fallout 4 game is perfect example of getting better with a harder difficulty mode. Granted, I get it. Survival mode in Bethesda games aren't the best. Managing hunger and thirst and weather, whatever they call it in that genre, whether it's Skyrim or Fallout, whatever, for the most part, isn't fun. I've played those mods on Skyrim before, not for me. I don't know how they did it, but they nailed it perfectly with Fallout, where, if you get too thirsty, it starts affecting your AP. If you get too hungry, it starts affecting your AP. But then it also starts pulling your special stats down. And then if you get really bad, you start taking those negatives or whatever. But then it can also like break your bones. If like, let's say you're over encumbered, it take away your ability to fast travel in regular mode, sure. But then now you can literally break your leg because you're carrying so much weight. And it's just incredible. I could go on for hours about how Fallout 4 survival mode is the way to play. But I highly recommend looking up Fallout 4 YOLO runs. Those the people who can do those are insane. I've tried it twice and I've died both times. it is insane to me the amount of game knowledge that you have to succeed on one of those runs.
See, and that's the other thing is it's not an achievement to do that. You know, like
No, yeah,
I,
it's a self-imposed limitation.
yeah, I was just thinking about this. I was talking to Zero about this the other day, thinking about like playing like the really old games and how once we would beat them, we would impose those challenge runs. I could have swore that beating Dead Space 1 with the pistol was a challenge run that we used to do for fun, and that we did that in Resident Evil 4, I want to say, with the pistol.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to beat the game with the pistol because I love this game so much. I'm going to play it again. You know, like, well, how can I shake this up? It's like back when we would do Mega Man X runs. Be like, I'm only going to get the one leg power up that you have to get to beat the game. And dude, those runs were insanely difficult because like you didn't have the extra HP. You couldn't overcharge for fucking invincibility from the Sting Chameleon power up. Like, that's what we did. We would just take one game. It brings me right back to the beginning of what we were talking about, which is achievement hunting. And I think because we have this ease of access to buy any game we want, like when we were kids, you would just get the one game. So you'd be like, okay, how can I beat this again? Because it was a good game, but I can't buy any new games right now because it's winter and I can't mow any yards and nobody needs a walk shovel or whatever, you know, like. Fuck, what can I do?
Absolutely. I think you and I both had very similar, experiences with that where sure you could go up and rent a game, and that was kind of like a special occasion type deal, but getting a game, you would only get 1 or 2 games a year. And those games had to last. So I always make the joke that the bastards over at Disney selling Sega Genesis games, those were some of the hardest games of all time. But they did it on purpose. They were arcade games that were ported over to the console. They didn't know how to do that. So they were just like, well, arcade games, we want to make them super hard so that they eat your quarters. Let's just do that for the home console. And those are the games that we grew up on. We loved that challenge. And then like you said, it wasn't like we were doing that necessarily because we wanted to. That's just how we were sucking the enjoyment out of a game that we'd already beaten 2 or 3 or 4 times. And there, and it was like, okay, well, that's what you do now. You just have these self-imposed limitations. And I do think that modern gaming has kind of gotten, we talk about this all the time. The achievement lists are terrible for the most part. Most of them are multiplayer related, kill 100 people in a multiplayer match or whatever. Those achievements are terrible. Those are awful. I know I've talked about this before on a previous episode, but I got the platinum achievement in Dragon Ball FighterZ, the 3-on-3 tag team Dragon Ball Z game, which I loved. The game was amazing, but the very last achievement that I needed, what you essentially had to do was you had to cheese the login system in order to get 1 billion zenny. Because that was the amount of money that Mr. Hercule won for winning the Cell Games tournament. And so it was like, so what you would do is you would log into the game, you would go into the start menu, disconnect from the internet, close the game, reopen the game, reattach to the internet, and then you would get a second login bonus. And then you would just do that over and over and over and over and over again until you had 1 billion zenny. And it's like, that's not an achievement. You're not playing the game. You're cheesing the internet is essentially what you're doing. But that's how you had to do it, because if you tried to do it the legitimate way, you would have to play the game for like 5 years every day, logging in and playing online game mode. That's just, it was fun while I was doing the challenge of getting those achievements. But I'm not gonna play that game for 5 years, and just for that purpose. And so I think some of the worst achievements in all of gaming are related to multiplayer trophies.
You'll get no argument from me. I can't even fake the other side of the aisle on that one. Fuck that. Yeah. Quit making those fucking achievements, bro.
I get that makes us, old men standing on soapboxes and shaking our hand like it used to be so much better. But it was like, I think it's so ridiculous. It's not self-imposed, this like mandate across these giant corporations that are like, you will play our games multiplayer. I don't like playing games multiplayer. I like playing solo adventure games. whatever it may be, RPG games or action games or whatever. I like enjoying those experiences alone. I don't like joining a multiplayer lobby and having a 14-year-old cussing me out while his speakers are blaring rap music. And it's like, why are we doing that? This was the experience I had playing The Last of Us multiplayer, where it's like you get on and it's like some guy is cussing you out because we lost and it's all my fault and you're the worst and why were you using that gun and your loadout stinks. You should be using this loadout. It's so infuriating. We had this whole spiel about Overwatch where it's like online gaming is so toxic, and now we know that it's toxic on purpose. And it's like just remove that from achievements altogether. That's a completely separate thing. The people playing multiplayer don't care about achievements. The people who play achievements don't care about multiplayer. Just separate them. Separate those two things. End of my soapbox rant. There you go. There's my Zelda rant.
I think I was on call with you when you were getting bitched out.
Oh my god!
It was so funny. Like he didn't even respond, folks. There was somebody who was like, "Thanks for the heal, bro." Some shit, and I was like, "Is someone yelling at you right now?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Well, I'm trying to get this achievement right now, so I'm not worried about what he wants." And I was dead. I was like,
think about how ridiculous this is. So I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can without me being able to show a visual aid. The audience is going to be completely lost and confused. But the way that the multiplayer works in The Last of Us is you have a clan, and it grows after each multiplayer match, depending on how many parts you earn. And so you come back from the main menu, or you come back from the match to the main menu, and it says, like, you have 30 survivors in your camp, and 30 of them are healthy, 0 are sick, 0 are dead, whatever. And the goal is to survive for 12 weeks or 14 weeks, whatever it is, with those clan units. So you go into a match, you do whatever the objective is. I always played interrogation, which is essentially like, yes, you can kill someone, but in order to get the point for the kill, you have to run up and interrogate them. It's a game mode that's in a lot of multiplayer games. But anyway, when you do that, then you get 2 rewards. You get more ammo, and then you get parts. The point of the game is not to win the game, the individual match, or perform well in the individual match. It's to collect as many of those parts that you can, so that when you come back to the main menu, your survivors stay alive. So that what you do in order to cheese that is you go into a game, you drop the game, you go back to the main menu, you get 0 parts for the day, and then you've got, so now instead of having 13 healthy survivors, 0 sick, 0 dead, now you've got 5 dead, 15 sick, whatever. And so then you go back into the second game, you start the game, you quit, you go back to the main menu, and now you've got 0 healthy, all of your people are sick or dead. Then you go back into the game, and then you try in that game to get as many parts as you can, and then that will heal up your guys. You do that for 12 weeks. 12 weeks. Each match is 1 day, and you do that for 12 weeks. It was so, and you have to do it twice. You have to do it once for the Fireflies and once for the, I forget what the police force are called in the Last of Us universe, Fedra. You do it for the Fedra faction and the Fireflies faction, and then you get the platinum. I was so fed up with that game. Yeah, so the story that Jared was telling was a guy is like bleeding out in front of me. My mission for that game wasn't to get revives, so I'm not going to revive anybody. That's not my goal. I think my goal was to get like 3 headshots. So it's like, no, why would I help you? That's not the point of me doing this. It was so ridiculous that it was obviously slapped on by some stupid executive in some boardroom. It was dumb. I hated it. Got the achievement.
I gotta say though, imposing kind of like a zombie apocalypse world where the guy's like laying on the ground bleeding out, and he's like, help me, bro. I'm like, no, dude, you'll get me killed. I'm very busy.
That's true. I never thought of that, because that's exactly how, I was talking to you so casually, and then, on PlayStation, the controllers have the microphone built into the controller, and like you could hear it coming through. He's cussing me out. He's like, you asshole, come over and revive me. And it's like, no, dude, I'm not wasting my resources to help you. No, I won't do it.
Die, hurry up so you can come back or whatever.
Yeah, literally, die so I can get your parts.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, see, there's even another layer there.
Yeah.
Zombie worlds. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we need to talk about next time. We need to not put that off because we'll probably, I want to be talking about some zombie games next time for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I
Get
should
into
get
the
that.
spirit of
Yeah,
Halloween.
maybe I need to get that Dead Space remaster, whatever it's called, fucking playthrough done this week. Pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be good. Well, shoot, obviously this isn't the time or the place to be talking about this, but Dying Light 1 just got a DLC. It's called like Dying Light Beast
What?
or something like that.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, not the second one, the first one.
What?
Got a story DLC. Yeah.
The hell?
The way that I was understanding it, I guess Dying Light 2 is like dead, but there's still a pretty active online community in Dying Light 1. So they just released a DLC for it.
Hey, folks, if you're in charge of multiple generations of a franchise and people are just playing the first one, do this. Do that.
Yeah.
That's 10 out of 10 behavior right there.
I thought that was so cool. Yeah.
What the hell? Unlike Payday, where they like fucking broke the game so you can't keep playing it.
Geez.
Please play our next game. We've spent money on this. Like, bro, just keep DLCing this one.
We're completely off the rails now. I don't care.
Fuck!
Payday 2 was so unrealistic. And granted, it was fun for what we were doing, which was we were essentially using it as like a Borderlands substitute. But like, I think that game has like 1,000 achievements or something stupid like that. That's the other thing that ticks me off. Well, you can't have an achievement list that's 1,000, things long, and then you look at it and it's like, oh yeah, it's going to take you 999 hours and it's a 10 out of 10 difficulty to do it. Get out of here.
1,000 achievements? What is this, an MMO?
Not even Final Fantasy 14 has that level of hubris.
Oh wait, I don't know how many achievements are in that game. There's one game that I don't care if I get all the achievements in. I have been fucking trying to get this one achievement though. Dear Papa Yoshi, can you fucking change this one step at a time achievement? I got 49 out of 100 wins I need for this mount. And so you have to do this one battleground frontline, whatever they're called. And the map rotates every day, and there's 4 maps. So every 4 days, I get a chance to get one win. Like, how long is this gonna fucking take me? The other day, I was playing it, and I was like, I just want one win because I'm 49 out of 50. I got one. I just need one win today. And I get in there and I lose, and then I lose again, and then I lose again, and then I lose again, and I'm at the 5th loss, and I'm like, do I fucking queue up for a 6th loss today, or do I just fucking go do something else?
We are the worst demographic for online games because we're so susceptible to all of the like psychology. We keep referencing this. I don't know that we've ever actually talked about it, but there was this article that came out that basically said like developers know that these games piss gamers off. They do it on purpose. They put all of these things in online games on purpose to piss you off because they found that like essentially rage baiting their customers was more effective than having a fun game that kept people involved in a game more intensely. And so I don't understand this like you and I get this unbridled rage when we play online games. Like we're so bad at just losing our minds. And like when the losses start rolling, we just keep losing.
Yeah, keep queuing up. This is it. This one's going to matter. This one's the one. I can't lose 6 games in a row, can I?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 14 times.
Yeah, fool me 14 times and I'll buy Final Fantasy 15. Fuck!
Damn it!
Yeah, no, I logged out and installed Styx Master of Shadows, folks. Well, backlog. That's a backlog game for me. Because that game, I got sucked into that. All right. Well, first of all, love rogues. I think rogues are cool. I love monsters because I've been a DM for a long time. So I like to play the bad guy. And that game is about like kind of being the bad guy. I need to go down a bad guy game run.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That would be fun. Well, and so I'm like, oh man, I need to play Styx Master of Shadows. I've been putting that off. I looked. This is so funny because it tells you when you last like saved. And so it was fucking September of 2022 was the last time I played. It's the same fucking day. I'm not even fucking kidding you. I was like, are you kidding? You mean to tell me every September I fucking probably boot up Styx Master of Shadows and play the first stage and try to 100% it? Because fuck, that's the worst thing about a game like this is like, it's got all these collectibles you can do in each stage. And then there's like, you can do a ghost run where you don't kill anybody, you don't get caught. Or you can just fucking murder everybody, like I do, because that's fun. Because like, hey, give me all the tools and I'll murder the fuck out of everybody. But anyway, start playing that. Then I see Styx Shards of Darkness on sale. I was like, oh boy, I'm going to pick that up, add that to the backlog because I'm a fucking idiot. And I'm trying not to buy new games from my backlog, but there I just went and did it. And then I see that they're coming out with another Styx game this year, 2025.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah. I fucking forget what it's called now. I just was looking at it the other day because I was like, oh my God, what's it called? I'm going to type it in. Yeah, everybody, bear with me.
Talk amongst yourselves here for a second.
Every episode. Oh God. I can't even find it because I'm fucking stupid. No, not Shards of Darkness. It's called Blades of Greed. That's what it's called.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to piggyback on something you said real quick. Just kind of jumping in here. We've threatened the audience with this before, but next year we are going to do a log of when we play certain games because you and I are so bad about. So I don't know what it is about our monkey brains, but at certain points during the year, we're like, I have to play this game. And then we just get this like horse blinders, and that's the only thing we want to play. But it's every year. Every year at the same time, we want to play Stardew Valley. We want to play Borderlands. We want to play, like we have these games that lock us in these boxes, and we do it every year.
Yo, if you're still with us, my call to action is for everybody to take a serious look at your backlog, write it all down, and then throughout the year, write down every game that you play every week or something. Like, here's all the games I played this week, and then look at that. I know Steam sometimes gives us that year in review, but like, maybe you're gaming on your PlayStation or your Xbox, wherever you got. Like, fucking write that down and then send it to me. How many of your backlog games did you finish? How many new games did you buy this year? Quit letting that backlog grow, folks. It's time. It's time to backlog. You know what I want,
is that
though?
What we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna do next week? We're gonna have another backlog episode.
Oh my God. No. Well, you know what I want is I want them to make of Orcs and Men too. Okay,
Ooh,
we're still talking about Styx, and I just want to say I want them to make the second one. I want another turn, because we're right there in the pocket now. Turn based is cool again. Like,
yep.
Give me back that the best fucking part about that game, folks. If you've never played of Orcs and Men and you don't know what I'm talking about with Styx, and his stealth games, it's a spin-off from Of Orcs and Men. And Of Orcs and Men, I think we already talked about this last time, is similar to KOTOR, where you kind of go in a pause menu, you control your team, but instead of having the traditional like Trinity, there's like tank, healer, damage dealer, whatever. They don't have that in this game. They've got Barbarian Psycho and Sneaky Bastard. And sometimes Barbarian Psycho, if he gets too mad, you lose control of the character, and then you're just stuck as the fucking Sneaky Bastard. And the Barbarian Psycho, if there's nobody to kill, will chase that character. And you have to run or he kills him.
I love that.
And it's amazing. I'm like, this is what it feels like to play like the DM, but instead, like, I'm the player DM, like, and then the players are the DM, and they're like sending humans at me, and they're like, the humans are gonna get you, and I'm like, no, because monsters. And it's just fucking right into my fucking pocket, man. And I was just like, I love this game. And then we're like, it's a fucking stealth game now. And of course, that was 2014, I think. I don't know. Stealth games were super fucking popular, and I love stealth games, don't get me wrong. And this is, if you've not played Styx and you like stealth games, this is a fucking like little hidden gem for you, because it's usually on sale for pretty fucking cheap. And it's a good time. And I just like that little fucking rat cash.
Yeah. I think, that world, like you said, it lends itself to kind of that D&D comparison of what would happen if instead of being the good guys, the stereotypical good guys, because that story's been told 1,000 times, the heroic fighter and, the wise mage and then the sneaky, rogue with the backstory, but he secretly has a heart of gold and all of that stuff. That story's been told 1,000,000 times. Let us play as the crazy people, the unhinged people. Like, those are the stories that we want. We want to play as the deranged people. Sick of being the good guys.
Well, we're not a fair metric here, okay?
Well, that's
you
okay.
constantly play a necromancer, and I'm always the DM. This is not a fair metric. When you were like, I'm gonna be the DM, and you just slipped right in, like okay, like a glove, like surprise, folks. And then I'm gonna be a DM. One.
I'm gonna play a DM. First campaign, Curse of Strahd. You're just a necromancer. No.
It wasn't fair because I didn't have any minions at that point. Okay,
that's true.
I had to play a heroic character. It was very hard. All right, I was like, and then I guess I break the law. No, okay,
no,
and then I trick them to be my minion. No, damn it! I hate this game.
You're taking all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I threw that brick through the window of that business because they talk shit to me. If I can forge a letter from Strahd. Oops.
Do we need to do a D&D recap episode where we just detail every character we've ever made?
That would be.
And how deranged they are.
Folks, fill out the form below if you want us to talk about D&D.
Yeah, you write the next episode.
You know
Sick
what?
of doing this.
Well, I think next time for sure we're tackling those zombies. We're tackling the dead spaces. You're gonna get the spookiest episode out of us that you ever spooked.
Ooh.
We should have done that today.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna come out
today. Thursday. It's Thursday. It's coming out today.
Oh right.
Yeah, folks are listening to it now. It's present day for them. Okay.
Quick! What are the lottery numbers? Send them to his fax.
Yeah, wait a minute.
There's still time.
Yeah, my fax. Fuck my fax machine. It's busted. Suck my busted ass PC. Okay. Well, I would love to sit here and keep talking. Well, it's really hard because I really want to talk about remake right now. I
know.
Really just wanted to do that. But we got to let these people go because it's like been 40-something minutes or something. I don't know, whatever you guys like. Fill out the form below if you'd like our episode to be longer. Folks, if you're just joining us.
Yeah, okay.
See, we're here. We've made it to the end.
So this game's called Blood Bowl. What's it about?
What's that about?
There's this planetary war going on.
Son of a bitch, are you serious? Go on.
All right.
I had to fucking remove Blood Bowl from my list because I had to make room for fucking Rebirth and then the folks don't know about that. I'm not telling them about that.
Yeah, don't tell him. It's a secret.
I'll tell you after. If you want to know the secret, I'll have the form below. Son of a bitch. All right.
Dang it.
All right. What else you want to add? Anything?
No, that's it. Do you want me to tell him see ya?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
All right. See ya.